Hi all, welcome back. In this course, we are going to see how we could copy data from Azure SQL DB. We are going to create a Azure SQL DB, and from Azure SQL DB, we are going to copy data into storage account by using Azure Data Factory instance. So we are going to create a Azure SQL DB, and we are going to copy the data into Azure storage account by using Azure Data Factory instance. So we will create Azure SQL DB, we will create Azure storage account, we will create Azure Data Factory instance, and we will create a pipeline that will copy data from source to destination. So let's get started. Hi all, welcome back. In this video, I am going to create a Azure SQL database. And Azure SQL database is a cloud version of SQL Server. So in order to create Azure SQL database, click on Create Resource. And you could search for SQL database. And select Create. Now we need to fill some basic information. Say first we need to select the subscription. I'm going to use pay as you go subscription. If you have free tier, use free tier. Similarly, we need to use a resource group. And if you don't have any resource group, you could create a new resource group. Resource group will act as a folder. And you could deploy multiple resources into a resource group, and at the end of the project you could delete the resource group. That will delete all the resources that you deployed into the resource group. So I'm going to use an existing resource group. So if you want to create a new resource group, just click on create new resource group and specify the name. I'm going to use the existing one called DP200. Now we need to specify the database name. So this will be the name of our database. And you could give any name. I'm going to give Azure SQL DB. The name should match some minimum criteria. Now we need a server. So in order to host any database, we need a server. And if you don't have any server, you have to create. So in order to create, just click on create new, and you could specify the name of the server. This name should be unique across the globe. So we will be accessing the server from the cloud environment as well as from our local infrastructure. So we will be accessing the server from our local computer. So this server name should be unique. So if you try to enter the name as test, you will see an error saying that this name is already someone else is using this server name. So let me try with some name. So this one also someone is using. And step to see DB new is available. Now we need a login name and password, and we will use this username and password in order to access our SQL Server database or Azure SQL DB. So if you try to enter the name as admin, you will get an error saying that you can't use this name. So I'm going to use a name called demo and a strong password. Now you could choose the location where you want to deploy the server. So I'm going to use East US. You could select any location, and that's it. So we specified the server name, admin login, password and location. Now click OK. Now we need to select two more configuration, or we need to configure two more option. Are you going to use elastic pool? It's an advanced concept and I'm not going to use it now. We will discuss elastic pool later videos. Now we need to select the compute and storage capacity for this Azure SQL DB. While configuring the server, we specify the server name. We didn't configure the compute and storage. We will configure the compute and storage capacity at database level and not at the server level. So let's click on configure database. And we could select different option. Say inside general purpose, we have few options are there, provisioned and serverless. Similarly, there are basic, standard and premium is there. Based on the current selection, I need to pay this much amount per month. Also, we have an option to select week or purchasing model. And if you are using week or purchasing model, we have an option to select compute and storage separately. So we could select different compute as well as different storage capacity separately. I'm going to use a very basic configuration with 5 DTU. So if you are selecting or if you are increasing DTU, you could see the price also increasing. So if you increase the DTU, you will get more compute power and the price also will increase. And based on DTU, your storage capacity also you could change. But it will be priced based on DTU. So you won't get the flexibility to choose the compute and storage differently. So I'm going to use a basic, and this is the expected per month billing. So if I use this database for 1 month, I need to pay this much amount. So I'm going to use this configuration. Now in networking, I'm not going to make any changes. Inside additional setting, we have an option to select use existing database or none or backup. So if you select backup, you could select any of the backup file and you could restore. And if you select sample, in your database you will get some sample data from Adventure Work LT database. So you could either select none or you could select sample. In our demo, we will add or we will create 3 new tables. So you could either select none or sample. And let's go to the tag. If you want to give any tag, you could specify the tag. And inside review and create, you could see the selection. All the configuration which you selected, you could review. And if you are fine with all the settings, you could click create and our deployment is started. This deployment might take some time, maybe 5 minutes. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Our deployment is completed and I am going to create one more resource called storage account. So you could create a storage account by clicking on create resource. and you could search for storage account. And click on create. And I will explain what is meant by storage account and other configuration later. In this video we are going to create a storage account and we will use it inside our Azure Data Factory. And we have an option to select subscription. I have only one subscription. So if you have free subscription, you could use that one. In my case, I'm going to use pay as you go subscription. And as I said, we could create new resource group or we could use existing one. So resource group will hold different resources that we are going to use inside a single project. So it's allow us to organize the services. So I'm going to use the existing resource group called DP200. Now we need to specify a name for our storage account. This storage account name also should be unique across the globe. So I'm going to try a simple name called SAADF. So it's not available. Let me try another one. So SA step to C ADF, storage account step to C ADF is available. Now we have an option to select the location. Where are you going to create this storage account? So I'm going to use the East US. So if you want to choose any other location, you could select. So select a location somewhere near to your home area. Also you could select performance as standard or premium. I'm going to select standard. And inside account kind, you could see storage account general purpose V2. This is the latest version, and we have old version called general purpose V1. Also blob storage is also there. So I'm going to use the latest one. And replication option is there. So this will allow us to replicate the data inside cloud. So whatever file you save inside your storage account, it will be replicated across different devices, and based on your selection, the replication will be different. In later video, I will explain which kind of replication you should consider based on your requirement. Now I'm going to use a simple one called locally redundant storage, and we have an option to select access tier as cold or hot. I'm going with hot. Inside networking, I'm not going to update anything. I'm leaving all the configuration as it is. Inside data protection, we have an option to select blob soft delete, which means if you delete the file, still the file will be available for few days so that you could recover it back. I'm not going to select any of the option. Inside advanced tab, if you want to make the storage account as a data lake, you could select hierarchical namespace enable, which will enable or which will convert the storage account as a data lake. But I'm not going to convert into a data lake. I will use it as a normal storage account. And if you want to give any tags, you could give the tags. And inside review and create, you could see the selection, which all the configuration you selected, everything you could review, and you could click on create. So this will initialize the deployment process, and deployment process might take 1 or 2 minutes. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Now our source system is ready. Also our destination storage account is also ready. Now let's create a Azure Data Factory instance. So in order to create a Azure Data Factory instance, you could click on Create Resource and search for Data Factory. And click on Create. Now we need to specify a name for our Azure Data Factory. So this name is also someone is using, and ADF step to see new is available. Now we have two options. Either we could select Azure Data Factory version 1 or version 2. Version 2 is the latest version and I'm going to use that one. Also we need to select the subscription. So I'm going to use pay as you subscription, and resource group I'm going to use DP200. And we could select the location. So if you want to select a different location, you could select that. And if you want to enable Git, you could select the Git and you could use the Git URL. But I'm not going to use Git integration right now. We have a dedicated module to explain Git integration. So you could use those videos and you could integrate your Git repository. So I'm not going to select Git. So in order to create Azure Data Factory instance, we need a name, we need to select the version, subscription we need to select, resource group we need to select, and we need to select the location where are you going to deploy the Data Factory instance. You could deploy multiple Data Factory instance, and in our CI/CD module we will explain how we could use multiple Data Factory instance and how we could integrate them by using Git and DevOps. So let's create a Data Factory instance, and this will deploy a new Data Factory instance. This deployment won't take much time. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Our Data Factory instance deployment is completed. Now let's go to home and let's go to the resource group. We created a resource group called DP200. Inside our resource group, you could see we have a Data Factory, our database, also database server, and a storage account. Let's try to see the data inside our SQL database. So in order to access the database, click on the database, and you could see an overview. Inside the overview tab, we have a server name, and we could use this server name in order to access this database. And we could use SQL Server Management Studio to access this database from our local machine. And if you want to connect from Azure environment, you could use Query Editor. You could specify the password and you could try to connect. I'm going to try from SQL Server Management Studio. Go to Overview and copy the server name. and instead of server name, paste your Azure SQL database server name and specify the password and username. So our username is demo and password. Also make sure that you selected SQL authentication. And for the first time you will get an error because of the firewall. So let's see the error. And you could sign into your Azure portal and allow this IP to access your Azure, or you could cancel this one and you could go to portal and click on set server firewall, and we have an option to add client IP, and you could see our client IP is added. Also you could see allow user or Azure service to access this SQL database. So if you are not enabling this option, you will be facing some difficulty to access this database from your Azure environment. So make sure that you select yes and save the settings. Now if you try to connect, you will be able to connect. Now you could see inside the database Azure SQL DB, which is the name we enter at the time of deployment. And if you expand, you could see there are some sample data, store procedure and function views, everything. This is from AdventureWorks LT database. So if you select sample DB, you will get some table and some dummy data. For our demo, we are going to use separate tables. So if you execute select star against any table, you will get the result. So if you execute select statement against address table, you could see there are some 450 records are there. So I'm going to use some script. So let's create 3 tables. One is customer, another one is address and sales. Now if you execute, it will create 3 new tables. So this table is created inside DBO, and you could see we have address, customer and sales table. And let's insert some dummy data. So this will insert 5 records in each table. And if you execute this statement, you could see there are 5 records in each table. So our source is ready now. Now let's go to the Azure Data Factory and create the remaining pipeline and other component to copy this data from our SQL database into our blob storage. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Now let us see how we could access our Azure Data Factory instance. We could go to Data Factory and select your subscription, and you could see your Data Factory instance. And you could see an overview about your Data Factory, and there will be many options available. In order to access your Azure Data Factory instance, click on Author and Monitor tab. And you could see a window something like this. You could see there are few tabs. Right now we are in Home tab. We have Author tab is there. From the Author tab, we could access Pipeline, Dataset, Dataflow. Similarly, we have Monitor tab is there. From the Monitor tab, we could monitor the performance of our Azure Data Factory pipelines, and we could monitor the triggers, integration runtime, and we could configure alerts and metrics. And finally, we have Manage tab is there. From the Manage tab, we could create new linked service and integration runtime. Also, we could configure Git, and we could create new triggers, and we could manage the security. If you go to the Home page or Overview tab, you could see there are many templates are available. So if you want to create a pipeline, you could use any of this template. But usually we will be creating pipelines by using Author tab. Also, there are many tutorial videos are available. You could use this option, set up code repository, to integrate Git or DevOps. Also, you could use Author tab. And from the Author tab, you could use set up code repository to configure your repository. You could create new pipeline by clicking this option, New Pipeline, or you could use this plus button to create Pipeline, Dataset, Dataflow. In the upcoming video, I will explain how we could create linked service, how we could create dataset, how we could create pipeline, and how we could execute the pipeline by using debug or trigger. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Now before going to create the pipeline, let's create a container. So we want to copy some data from our Azure SQL database into our storage account. And we need a container. Container will act as a folder inside your storage account. So let's create a container. So let's go to the storage account. And our storage account name is SA Step2C ADF. And let's create a container. And we could call it as data. And access type private. That's it. We created a container inside our storage account. Now we could copy data from our SQL database into this container. Now let's go to Author tab. And let's create a pipeline. And we could call it as data copy or copy data from SQL to storage account. And if you want to give any description, you could give that one. Now you could find the activity. Say you could find many activities inside each category, and we want to copy data from our source to destination. So let's drag a copy activity, and you could see some basic configuration. We could specify the name for your copy activity. Also, we need a source dataset. Also, we need a sync dataset. So we need to specify the source and sync. And in order to create dataset, we need connection. We need a connection to access our data from both the source. So we need two connections. One connection to connect our SQL database and another one connection to access our storage account. So let's go to Author tab. And in Azure Data Factory, linked service will act as a connection. So click on New, and we could specify the connection. Which kind of data are you going to access? So let's create a storage account, Azure Blob storage account connection, and continue. Now we could specify the name of our connection. So let's call it as Azure Blob Storage Linked Service. And you could specify the description, and we have an option, say how we are going to access. So if you are going to access some service within Azure, you could use auto resolve integration runtime. And if you are going to access some service from your on-premise environment, that means hybrid network, you have to use self-hosted integration runtime. And if you are running SSIS related stuff, we have SSIS integration is available. So if you want to create any new integration service, you could use new option. But now we are trying to access from Azure environment. So I'm going to use auto resolve integration runtime. Now how are you going to access? So I'm going to use account key, and there are different way also possible. So I'm going to use account key to access our storage account, and I'm going to use my subscription. You could specify the subscription, and you could specify the storage account. So in our case, it's a SA step to C ADF, and you could see we are accessing this with a connection string. Now you could test the connection, and connection is successful. So let's create the connection. So our destination connection is ready. Now we need a connection to access our Azure SQL DB. So let's create another connection, and this time I'm going to use Azure SQL database. So you could see another option, database, but you can't see any Azure SQL database. This SQL database is different. We need to access Azure SQL database. So make sure that you select Azure SQL database and continue. And you could call this connection as Azure SQL linked service or Azure SQL database linked service. And this is also Azure environment. So our database is reside in Azure environment. So we are going to use auto resolve integration runtime. Now we could specify the subscription, and we could specify the server name and database name. And we are going to access this by using SQL authentication. So we need to use the login name and password. And let's test the connection. And the connection is success. So let's create the connection. So now we created two connections, one connection to access our source system and another connection to access our destination system. And by using these two connections, we could create dataset, and by using the dataset, we could copy data from source to destination. So in next video, I will show you how we could create dataset by using these two connections. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Hi all, welcome back. Now let's create some dataset. So in order to create dataset, let's go to Author tab and click on New Dataset. So now we have two connections. One connection pointing to our Azure SQL database, and inside Azure SQL database we have many tables are there. So our SQL connection is pointing to Azure SQL DB, and there you could find many tables. So while creating dataset, we will specify which table or which data are you going to get from the database. So let's go to the database, and you could see we have multiple tables are there. So I'm going to load the customer data. Inside customer table we have 5 records. So I'm going to load this information as a CSV file and will save into our storage account. So let's select Azure SQL database and click on continue. Now we need to specify the dataset name. So you could call it as Azure SQL table customer. Now we need to specify the linked service. So I'm going to use the existing linked service. Now we need to specify the source table. So you could see we have multiple tables are there, and I'm going to use DBO customer. Now click on OK. Now we need one more dataset to save the data into a destination, and I'm going to create a CSV file. So let's select Azure Blob Storage and click continue, and I'm going to create a CSV file. So select delimited test, and we could call it as delimited test customer, and let's select the linked service, and let's select the file location. So we don't have any file, we are just specifying the location. Also we could specify first row as header. So now we have connection dataset. Now we could use this dataset inside our copy activity to copy the data. And in next video we will configure the pipeline to copy the data from source to destination by using these two datasets. Hi all, welcome back. Now let's go to our pipeline, and we have a copy data activity. So let's call this activity as copy data, and let's go to the source. Now we have source. So our source is SQL customer table, and we have some other option also available. Right now we are trying to access data from a table, and let's go to the sync and select the destination dataset. Inside mapping, if you click on import, you could see how the data is going to save. So inside our source data we have ID, name, age, address ID and sales ID is there. That will save into corresponding column. And in settings, I'm not going to update anything. And in user settings, we are not making any changes. Also, we need to specify the file name. So let's go to the delimited test dataset and we could specify the file name. Now let's save all the changes. So let's click publish and this will validate all the configuration. It will validate, and if there is any error it will show. And once you click publish, all the changes will be saved. So everything is published into our data factory. Now let's go to the container. And you could see this container is empty. So let's execute this workflow. So we could either use debug or add trigger now option. So if you want to create a trigger and to execute this workflow on regular interval, you could use trigger. And if you want to execute trigger just now, you could use trigger now. So let's click OK. And our execution is started. And you could monitor the execution inside monitor tab. And our execution is completed. It took around 6 seconds or 9 seconds to complete. So let's go to the storage account and refresh. And you could see a new file is created. And you could see the data. We have ID, name, age, address ID and sales ID. And you could see we have 5 records and all the records are available inside our CSV file. So in short, we created 2 linked service. Linked service means connection. A connection to our source system and a connection to our destination. And by using these 2 connections, we created 2 datasets. So Azure SQL table customer dataset is pointing to a table and delimited test customer is pointing to a CSV file. And by using these 2 datasets, we copy data from our source to destination with the help of a copy data activity. And you could see there are many other activities are there, and we are going to explain them one by one in the upcoming modules. So we have many activities are there and we will explain all of them one by one in the upcoming modules. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.